everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Battlefront 2. We find ourselves on the gorgeous, strange planet of Felucia. We are here during the height of the Clone Wars. The Galactic Civil War that saw the Confederacy of Independent Systems secede from the Galactic Republic. And this is Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2017. In case you thought this looked like 2005 graphics. Here we see a classic vehicle of the conflict, the MTT, the multi-troop transport. It contains this storage rack, which extends when the MTT arrives at its destination and deposits a contingent of battle droids onto the field. These MTTs have an interesting blue design on them. And off in the distance here, we have the iconic landing craft of the battle droid army, the C-9979, with their very distinct design. And we're going to wander around this battlefield on Felucia and take in the sights, such as these parts of a spider droid, a OG-9 homing spider droid, and we also have some battle droid parts scattered about here. In the fungus-covered dirt of Felucia. And we have some... I have stumbled into a little crater here. That's alright. I think I have to jump out here. There we go. Okay. We have a dead creature here that's on fire. I believe this is a Gela grub. A Gela grub. I'm not sure why its corpse is spewing green flame. Probably just a unique aspect of its biology. I love the fungal growths on Felucia. It is such a strange planet, and the design of the local flora and fauna is just amazing. Here we have another dead Gela grub. more parts of the homing spider droid, and this is, well, I was going to say it's cockpit, but it doesn't have a pilot, so that's probably not the right word, just the center of its body. These are these tall, four-legged droids, and that central sphere has a laser on it. And this wheeled vehicle is the IG-227 Hailfire tank. If you're anything like me, all of these vehicles are just so iconic. I've spent countless hours seeing these things in the movies, the Clone Wars TV show, and Star Wars video games, such as Star Wars Battlefront. The franchise features them multiple times. And other games like Star Wars Battlegrounds, I believe it was called. It's been a very long time since I've played it, but a Star Wars themed real-time strategy game that I really enjoyed when I was younger. Also, I must sincerely apologize if you hear my stomach rumbling. I've said in the past that I need to make sure that I eat before I record a video. And today I have done quite the opposite. I have not eaten for many hours and was actually planning on eating after I finish recording, so I messed up a little bit and didn't think about that until this moment. But anyway, we have these large protrusions from the ground covered in the native fungus of Felucia. I'm not sure what these giant protrusions are. I would guess that they are some massive variety of fungus, but perhaps they are some sort of strange rock formation, you know, I really have no idea. The answer is probably in some Star Wars visual dictionary somewhere, which I dearly loved as a child, all of those Star Wars visual dictionaries. Of course, we all remember Count Dooku's, his signature smug look of superiority, or something like that, in one of those books. That image got passed around online. We have this battle here on Felucia active as we were walking around. Oh, look at that thing way above us. I believe the setup for this map is that there is some valuable medicine here in this area. And the Republic is trying to secure it, while the droid army is trying to deprive them of the medicine. But here we have an incredibly fascinating aspect of the map. We are looking at a Sarlacc pit. A Sarlacc pit. You can see all of the teeth upon the surrounding hillsides. And down here, this, what seems at first to merely be an innocuous pool, is actually the flooded guts of the dead Sarlacc. And now it hosts these strange little alien fish that just seem to shrink and disappear. Nice. You can see the teeth of the Sarlacc here, needle sharp, no doubt. Oops. So I have returned to the Sarlacc pit in the body of a new droid after slipping and plunging to my doom. That's okay. Droids are a dime a dozen. Or maybe I should say a credit a dozen. It's no great loss to lose one. So let's continue circling around this Sarlacc pit. I love how the teeth are all sort of worn down, covered in roots and dirt. This creature has clearly been dead for a very long time. And the Sarlacc was famously introduced when Jabba took his prisoners, including Luke Skywalker, out into the dune sea of Tatooine on his sail barge. We have a flying manta-like creature here. And Jabba intended to execute Luke by throwing him into the great pit of Carcoon, which was a Sarlacc that lived on Tatooine. And of course, things did not turn out well for Jabba, and he was shortly thereafter strangled to death by Leia Organa. But we have no concerns here with this Sarlacc. Well, unless you slip inside like I did. But this would be a pretty fun swimming pool if you were a local, wouldn't it? You could go diving into the Sarlacc pit. I bet the local children dare each other to go deeper into the water. another interesting Sarlacc that I'm remembering now is from The Force Unleashed, which is a phenomenal Star Wars video game about Darth Vader's apprentice, Star Killer. And in that game, let's see, can I? In that game, you end up hunting down Shock T, Jedi Master Shock T, and she has taken refuge on the planet of Felucia. Deep, 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 deep in its jungle, protected by the local Felucians. And you end up finding her at the rim of a massive Sarlacc. And the Sarlacc actually returns later in the game in a pretty cool fashion as the Empire arrives and builds a facility around the Sarlacc, and then builds the facility down into the Sarlacc's guts. So you actually take an elevator down into the interior of the Sarlacc, and it's pretty cool. There are all of these hoses extending down into the water of this Sarlacc pool. I'm curious what the purpose of those hoses is. By the way, you may have noticed that I am playing as a battle droid and not a clone. That is because I am a lover of the droids. I am a friend of the droids. I stand for droid liberation. And for too long in the Star Wars universe, the very clearly human-like droids have been used and treated as slaves. So, as a sign of respect for the droids, I wanted to play as one today. Sorry, I'm just wandering around here looking for what these hoses connect to. And I don't think they really connect to anything in particular, so maybe it's nothing more than a simple water collection apparatus, just sucking up water into the hoses and using it to irrigate the nearby crops, which we will see at some point. There is a farming village nearby. Although I imagine on Felucia, irrigation is not much of a necessity. It seems like a pretty wet place. So let's move on from take a last look at those giant teeth and continue exploring this map. And by the way, we are only going to be exploring Felucia today. In my other map exploration videos, I tend to explore numerous maps per video, but these Battlefront 2 maps are just so huge and full of details that I think we will easily be able to fill up our time with just exploring Felucia. And we have another example of the local wildlife there. Some sort of Felucian snail. A ravine leading to the base of one of those large fungal towers. I'm just going to work off the assumption that it's fungal growth of some kind. That's certainly what it looks like to me. And the Felucian environment is quite hostile in some ways. It's a very beautiful world, but as with, jungle type environments in our real world, Felucia has many poisonous plants, carnivorous creatures, and all sorts of natural hazards. We have some more snails here. I think these snails were in The Force Unleashed as well, actually. Along with another sort of slug creature that was all covered in spikes. In big spikes. And I love all of this, sort of grass-like fungal growths, all of these low to the ground fungus varieties. Oh, this is interesting how this stone is all pockmarked with holes. Perhaps created by some local species. The sun is quite bright, isn't it? And I'm not entirely sure what this is. These large purple extended objects. But here we have what seems to be a sort of public storage area in this natural cave formation. So we can wander in here and see what's what. See what these clones have been up to. We have this bioluminescent green fungus. And I'm not entirely sure who the local residents of this village area are supposed to be. I'm not entirely sure what the current state of the canon is regarding, well, there's a lot of snails in this game. Regarding the inhabitants of Felucia. In The Force Unleashed, they're this very strange-looking, sort of fungal humanoid race. Very colorful. I think there's blue and red varieties. But I don't recall those aliens appearing in any other Star Wars media. And The Force Unleashed is not canon. I know there's also an episode of the Clone Wars that has these like little dudes that run a farm community on Felucia. It's that episode where they do the kind of Seven Samurai pastiche, I guess. But yeah, maybe those are the current canon, residents of Felucia. Are those Felucians or were they immigrants? I don't know. We have some kind of control station here with human handprints on the dusty monitors. I'm not sure what this control station controls. There is a hose connected to this. Is this a little vehicle of some kind? It's hard to tell. It looks like it could be. Okay, the hose just goes to nowhere. Maybe some kind of mobile control station for utilities that need to be set up in the field. So we can keep wandering this way, and this will take us towards the local village and the landing pad areas where the Republic has been transporting out its supply of medicine. This game mode, by the way, is a capture, sort of a conquest game mode. You're fighting over a handful of command posts, and the more command posts you control, the more that you gain points. So we have a sort of fungal forest here, with another cluster of those large growths in the distance on the horizon. And we have another vehicle to check out. This is a Republic turbo tank. A turbo tank. It is a heavy-duty assault vehicle and troop transport. And you can see it's actually firing off some sort of projectile. And I believe those are being shot at the transport ship. Back at the beginning of the map that we were looking at. Yeah. Seems to be. So let's go downhill and see what we can see over here. Oh, here's some more of those purple stalk things. I can't even tell. Are these like plants or some kind of animal? Not plants, I suppose. I don't even know if there are plants on Felucia. Is everything just a fungus here? But yeah, the Felucia has appeared in the earlier Battlefront 2 as well. This one is from 2017, but Battlefront 2 from 2005 also has a Felucia level. And you can fight over the planet of Felucia in the Galactic Conquest game mode. In the Galactic Conquest game mode. Galactic Conquest. That little tower extending from the turbo tank is pretty funny looking. It's got that kind of sawtooth structure, and then the little pod up on top. Now we can turn those large fungal growths to be fungal growths, now that I think about it, because they've got a lot of stuff in from the bottom of them, and it doesn't quite look like fungus that grown on it, but looks like it's part of the internal structure of the rock pillar. So that would be my conclusion anyways. Alright. Yeah, the more that I look at them, the more I'm kind of convinced that they're fungal projections. But anyway, let's wander off this direction, and we should find ourselves at the landing area. Well, I wouldn't call it a spaceport, just this little landing site for Republic ships. And this vehicle here is a carrier variant of the low altitude assault transport vehicle of the Republic, or simply LAAT. And this is most commonly seen carrying ATTE tanks, which we should see later. I believe there's at least one destroyed ATTE tank on this map. But wait a minute. Are there tin cans in Star Wars? I feel like I've never seen a tin can in Star Wars before. Can any of you think of a moment when someone's eating something out of a tin can or something? Yeah, I just felt like, I don't don't know, it feels like one of those things that George Lucas wrote down, like, you know how George was like, there are no books in Star Wars. It feels like he might have said there are no tin cans in Star Wars. Anyway, we have a little flooded zone here past the landing pad. Maybe this is part of a sort of a flowing brook or something. No, it looks pretty stagnant. Those iconic wings of the transport ship off in the distance. The turbo tank firing its, I don't know, are those proton torpedoes, maybe? Whoa. Those, that purple swarm of missiles came from a Hellfire tank, that wheeled tank we looked at earlier. And we can actually see an army of clones marching off to engage with the droids. With a constant barrage of small arms fire, an endless display of lasers firing off into the distance. I'm sure we can see the droids as well if we get a different angle. But this vessel, this ship, might be used for carrying cargo as well. I'm not positive. I'm sure it can carry more than just the ATTEs. Maybe it's here to collect these shipping containers. Another one here. You can see its front-facing guns here. Slightly less armed than the non-carrier variants, which have those sort of bubble guns on the side. We should find some of those later. There's a crashed one, I believe, on this map. Not I believe, I know there is. I'm just not sure if its guns are still intact or not. The Felucian fungal flora is pretty iconic. These large blue blossoms with red protrusions, and then these sort of orb towers with their little black seed looking interior things. Let's see, how far back does this, whoa, that's a lot of clones. Not much organization here. It's just kind of, everybody charged. Another cluster of those large protrusions. Man, that ship is huge. Just look at the size of it. Oh, a Hellfire tank on the move. That's cool. Did it just explode? Yeah, I think it did. Is it gonna respawn? Can we get another? Oh, I think we saw those missiles from earlier. Maybe we can see it firing off a burst of those missiles again. respawn. So here we have my brethren, the battle droids. Oh, nice. That one got taken out pretty quick. My brethren, the battle droids here, bravely marching to their dooms. Nice, I love those purple missiles. Whoa, that tank is going a little crazy. Just zipping around in circles. Anyway, let's get back to the map that we can actually walk around in. Felucia, of course, famous for being the location where Ayla Secura was murdered by her clone soldiers when Emperor Palpatine issued Order 66. In the montage of Jedi dying in the movie, you can see Ayla Secura be shot in the back by her troopers. Here we have the agricultural product of this little village. They seem to pack it into these tight cubes. It seems to include both the leaves and the blossoms and the stems, as there is a lot of green material in the cubes and not much red. So I imagine they put the whole plant in there from the base of the stem upwards. But here we are in the local village. This small farming community. And let's go ahead and wander through the local domiciles. What do you say? The whole community seems to grow these red blossoms. I suppose these plants have medicinal properties, because I believe the description of this map talks about the medicine supply of this area being quite important. So let's wander up into one of these very unique little houses. They're pretty cool how you have to walk up the steps and emerge through the floor. And it seems that this home housed some children. We can see their drawings made from these colored little sticks of some kind. Not sure if these are wax, like crayons, or some other writing implement. Looks like little fruits or candies, along with a pastry. All abandoned on the rug. No doubt the villagers had to quickly sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to crouch here. There we go. No doubt the villagers had to make a very quick evacuation when the invading basket sort of thing here, full of fruit, it looks like. And a fireplace emitting green flame from these little logs. And a little bucket of some kind full of what looks like candy. A heavily designed bucket, maybe imitating a local creature. And this home has a lovely view of the surrounding fungal forests and the turbo tank off in the distance. Two of them, in fact. The Clone Wars, of course, was the precipitating event for the rise of the Galactic Empire. Oh, we have some of the children's drawings posted up here on, maybe this is a fridge unit, or just a metal door of some kind. Holy cow, that's a lot of pastries in there. Not sure if that's an oven or a warming area. Wow, and 2 pies. Not bad, not bad. We have a jar of nuts or something there. Some bottles. Oh, and this one is full of bubbles, constantly streaming upward. Like an opened soda. These look like... Oh, so there's an oven mitt. And I'm not sure if this is maybe a stovetop heating element here. Sort of looks like it could be. And the fork. And some kitchenware in the sink. Looks like a nice sink. These houses are a little cramped, it seems to me. I'm not sure how many people live in a house, but we've got some more magnets here. And this magnet, that kind of reminds me of the great gateway into the city of Theed on Naboo. It looks like that Naboo architecture. Oh, that Naboo arch. Alright, let's move on and see. Well, this is a little doghouse. I wonder what a Felucian dog looks like. What kind of creature do they keep as a pet around here? But anyway, I was saying that these houses seem a little small to me. I mean, even if you have, just 2 parents and 1 child, that's a lot of bodies for a space this small. And we have another house kind of in disarray here. would be a nice place to sit and read in a chair. More magnets. But yeah, these knocked over stools and such in here seem to indicate that the local residents of this village evacuated in a panic and in a hurry. But yeah, if anybody knows what aliens in particular lived in this village in the current canon, let me know. I would be curious. Let's keep checking out these houses because the two I've been in so far have been unique from each other, so... Oh. Look at that thing. Large bird-like creature, a sort of reptile bird thing. And let's pop up in here. Oh, this one's actually very well put together compared to the other two. Everything seems to be neat and tidy and in good order. Alright, we'll move on from there. More fields of crops. There goes the bird. Fly away, friend. Be careful. Don't get hit by laser fire. Oh, this is cool. Little decorations. These seem to mimic the manta creature that we saw flying around earlier, along with some smaller red animal that I don't recognize. But that's pretty cool. Little, I guess banner kite sort of things that just catch the wind and look like they're the flying creatures. I like that. Another home in good order. Here we have a variety of food items in this fridge unit. Some under glass. And a small serving set up with a single pastry. This village seems to really enjoy pastries. Everybody's house is full of them. The path leads down here under some arches with lamps hanging from the arches. And that road leads us back to where we started. But I'm not quite done checking out the village, so let's look through some more of the houses, and then we can make our way back to where we began. How does that sound? Alright, great. Oh, I like this. The lamps strung around that little rock face there, and some more of those little branch type objects, perhaps being stored there to dry or something like that. And we have a tower of some kind. Certainly looks like a water tower. We can go up here to get a little closer. It is hung with lamps to provide some light and illuminate the tower. And this home is in disarray, but also contains a handful of these local crop blocks, these cubes of plant material. And around the back, they have another lovely balcony overlook sort of area with their 2 chairs and a bottle of bubbly green liquid. This would be a great place to come out and sit as well. Get a look off at those large growths. Take in the fungus, take in the sights, the sounds, the smells, which I'm sure these smells are pretty potent on Felucia. And you could even see the Sarlacc pit from here. Not super well, but you can see the surrounding teeth anyways, which is cool. If I were to live in this village, this would be my #1 house pick, at the moment anyways. Oh, interesting. It seems like there might be a lower level to these houses that we just can't enter. In which case, perhaps these upper levels are just the living room, kitchen, dining room sort of areas where the kids play and you prepare your daily 3 courses of savory pastries. And then perhaps the lower door leads to bedrooms. So this is interesting, and somewhat sad. It seems that when the fighting came to town, the town was in the middle of some kind of festival or feast. There are tables set up, covered in, I don't know what the hell that is, weird looking eel log things, pastries, fruits, more pastries. Another pie. Oh, is this like a little kid's table over here, maybe? Yeah, that's kind of sad. The villagers were clearly celebrating something when, unfortunately, war came to their doorstep. We have another bucket of candy or fruit or something. I guess this is a popular item in town. A little vessel to carry your snacks that is designed to resemble some kind of monster or creature. And whoa, that's a lot of dishes. Holy cow. That is a ton of dishes to be done. I wonder if this house, for some reason they're just doing all the dishes from the party. Maybe it's a lottery every year. Every year you have to draw and see who gets saddled with the unfortunate responsibility of having to do all the town's dishes. I would crash out. Oh, yo, we have a ton of those little snack basket things here. All different designs. Yeah, maybe these are like, maybe this is like Felucian Halloween or something. The kids go around with their little candy baskets, basically. And the adults fill them up with snacks. We have little, I like that guy. We have little fish sewn into this sheet here. It's interesting. I want to see what was going on here originally, you know, before everybody had to run away. A ladder leading to a little hatch. Maybe just a bit of extra storage. Or maybe that's where a child lives. They climb up into their little hatch and sleep in a little tucked away loft area. I would love to do that if I were a kid. When I was young, I loved to sleep in weird little hidden away places, like a little rat to make it a nest. This house is quite large compared to all the others. Maybe where somebody of some importance in the town lives. A mayor or something. Although the interior is the same size, actually. Or at least what we can access. This door presumably leads to the other side. But we cannot go through, so can we get a good look through these windows? Oh, there's a little hallway there with glass. Can I crawl up here? Alright, good enough. No, it's just pitch black in there. Okay. And I fell. Alright, well, maybe that's that for the town. Oh wait, here's another building. Let's take a look-see. Okay, these guys have a bunch of dishes too, actually. Not quite as many as that last house, but still. Maybe a couple of families just volunteer their dishware to be used for the party, and then they have to clean it all up afterwards. Alright. Let's continue. If we go this way, maybe. Little path leading down to a couple different roads. Another perfect thumbnail. Oh, this thing like explodes when you get too close to it. Yep, there it goes. It's very shy. It pops even though I was pretty far away. Doesn't want anybody getting close to it. And this is interesting. This is the one garden area that is actually fenced in with this laser fence. These green lasers. Maybe whoever owns this plot of land has had trouble with the scavenging animals coming in and munching on his crops. So he had to invest in an expensive laser fence. Laser fence. Walking back to where we began our journey toward the empty rivers it looked at when we began our wandering around Felucia. You know, I wonder if I'm just looking at this environment, and I wonder if James Cameron's Avatar planet design was at all inspired by Felucia, because just these giant fungal protrusions from the ground, overgrown with other kinds of flora. It sort of reminds me of those, just the general vibe of the planet from Avatar, where you've got those giant floating rocks in the air and they're all overgrown with vines and trees and stuff. More destroyed droids. Anyway, I mean, even beyond that, they just give me slightly similar vibes. Oh, and here's the other LAAT. This one is not the carrier version. It is a troop transport version, a sort of troop landing craft for the Republic to deploy its clone army. This one is, of course, in fairly bad shape, but as I was saying, it does have a few more. Oh, look at the light coming through the slats there. That's beautiful. This game has just gorgeous maps. It's so beautiful to look at. But yeah, this one has a few more guns on it. Oh no, it ran into a Gala grub. Poor little guy. But that thing's not flying again anytime soon. But yeah, those are obviously, you see those a ton in the Clone Wars and in the prequel movies and stuff. They are one of the most commonly used vehicles in the Republic army. You know, they're used to just move troops around constantly. A wheel of a destroyed Hellfire tank. still burning away. And we are back where we started. You can see the parts of the Hellfire tanks and the spider droids that we were examining earlier. But I believe up this way there is another vehicle that we haven't seen yet. Oh, actually too, this is a different one. I forgot this was even here. This is an AAD. An AAD. This is a tank for the droids. And that one actually does have pilots. That is not. A lot of the droid vehicles are really just droids. They're still just droids, just with the body of, a giant spider mech or whatever. But that one actually does have pilots. Battle droids pilot the AADs. This is the vehicle that I was looking for. The ATTE. A workhorse tank for the clone army. It stands for All-Terrain Tactical Enforcer. And it walks around on these legs, which are totally destroyed at this point, so it's hard to tell how this thing could ever actually move, but it's got these two rear-facing turrets. And you can see on the right and the left there's some the remnants of its feet. Another AAT here, along with a burning green Galagrub. And, I think that we have seen just about everything that this map has to offer at this point. So perhaps this would be a good moment to say goodbye. As we look out on the battle between these droids and these clones, not so different as they might think, right? Each side manufactured by uncaring masters as utterly disposable warriors, created for the express purpose to fight and die for a cause that birthed them into existence. Thank you for joining me as we explored Felucia today. I would love to return to Battlefront 2 and check out other maps as well at some point. But until next time, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that life is treating you well. Now please take care of yourself